bit to learn, but I think we've done a lot of that in testing. So, you know, you can never really be confident in rallying until you're on the finish ramp.
Auricula's Mitsubishi complete with comic relief red nose on one of the opening stages at Harewood. And the Group N contest was going to be interesting. Auricula against Colin McRae and Leo Shaw's Ford. The appreciably quicker Group A pace of Jimmy McRae, defending champion, going for a record 6th Open title. The surprise of the first day, though, was the weather, appreciably mild after a forecast of heavy drifting snow. Malcolm Wilson giving a British Championship debut to GM 16 Valve Astra. Around 200 miles of competitive stages to come, chiefly on the forests and moorland of the Vale of Pickering and the North York Moors. The kind of terrain that the Cumbrian Malcolm Wilson and his Lancastrian co-driver Ian Grindrod know only too well.
Straight for about 100, fast left, then 50, open hairpin right. Medium left, into fast left. Okay, that'll do.
But the pace setter as the rally entered the seriously competitive terrain was Llewellyn in the Toyota, a driver of immense promise but only rare success in the Shell Oil's British Championship. At last he seemed to have found machinery to match his ability, but there was quite a way to go. Håkan Eriksson in the Peugeot 309 GTI. The Swede getting used to a new environment, a new championship, but not without cost. End of stage 4, he's picked up a severely flattened right side after clouting a gate post. Leo Shaw early into the lead in Group N, but then suffers a clutch failure and is out of the rally. Auricula leads the class from Colin McRae. Mark Lovell, an aggressive but largely ineffective start, was struggling to hold on to a top 10 place after going off the stage. By contrast, the experienced Russell Brooks going well and going safely, lying 4th after 5 stages. Louise Aitken-Walker making her GM debut, lies 7th. At the front, though, still Llewellyn, although by no means having it his own way, under constant pressure from the Mazda Team Sweden driver Torbjorn Edling. But this was just the kind of pressurized situation in which Llewellyn has to reprove his worth. Here is Edling, who'd actually be into the lead himself after 12 stages. Meanwhile, Jimmy McRae comfortably placed just a few seconds back in 3rd, although four-wheel drive like the Mazda and the Toyota in front would have clearly been a help in the conditions. A gap of about 30 seconds then to Russell Brooks. The senior men, McRae against Brooks, just like the championships of a couple of seasons ago. And this is Gwyndaff Evans in 5th after moving up from Group N this season. And 6th place, the Astra of Malcolm Wilson. Conditions about as good as you can get on the Cartel rally. That's not to say the stages weren't slippery. Things always look different from the driver's viewpoint.
Fast right. Into easy left. Into easy right. Into easy left. Straight for 100, easy left.
Pentti Auricula, 7th overall, and the clear leader in Group N. Colin McRae, his closest challenger, but hampered by a slight misfire. 9th place, Louise Aitken-Walker. And completing the top 10 as the rally neared the end of the first day was Håkan Eriksson in the Peugeot. As darkness neared, some were carrying distinct signs of the battle. This is the modified Alfa Romeo of Norwegian Bernd Kohlvold. Others were about to pick up a few dents, significantly, at the top of the leaderboard. After a successful rearguard action to keep his Astra out of the undergrowth, Malcolm Wilson is about to pass the stricken Ford Sierra of Jimmy McRae. Only a brief off, but enough to drop Jimmy out of third place.
We just slid off, and it was a left and a right. It was very muddy and very sleet. About 2 inches of mud. The car just understeered into the grass verge, and we couldn't get the thing back on. We had to get some spectators to give us a push back on. So we lost about a minute and a half.
The town of Thirsk turned out in force to mark the halfway point in the rally. The drivers still in their seeded order, so Pentti Ricola still leading the event away, although it was Torbjorn Edling, the rally leader, by 6 seconds over Llewellyn in the Toyota. Oliver's Mount, 8 o'clock Sunday morning, and we're on board with Pentti Ricola in the Group N Mitsubishi. And you can see from the interior and hear from the lack of noise how close a Group N car is to a standard showroom model. Just basic rally modifications, such as the installation of a roll cage. Contrasting performance, of course, and behind Ricola on the famous Scarborough race circuit, Jimmy McRae. Ricola comfortably leads Group N, but the battle is on for the main finishing positions on the Cartel rally.
Junction left 7.
Into the final handful of stages on the Cartel, and David Llewellyn has stepped up the pace to regain the lead from Torbjorn Edling. Llewellyn had forced his way ahead on the night stages over the moors, but he's been in this position before, and aggression now has to be tempered with caution. Here's Edling, who'd surprised a lot of people with his first day pace, and even now he's only 20 seconds behind Llewellyn. Russell Brooks has hung on to third place, marking his return to the British Championship by staying ahead of his great rival McRae. McRae, meanwhile, was tantalisingly close, barely 30 seconds behind. A new gearbox had been fitted to his Ford Sierra Cosworth, and in Dalby, McRae was trying everything he knew to close the gap. Meanwhile, Colin McRae had lost a massive amount of time after going off on stage 25, so Pentti Ricola was even more comfortably placed, leading Group N and 5th overall. Ricola had no real prospect of improving on his position. He was under no great threat from behind, so he put the red nose to good use and adopted that comic relief approach to the forest chicane. Further down the top 10, Mark Lovell's attempts to improve his position were hampered when a turbo pipe came adrift. But Lovell 6th and Gwyndaf Evans is 7th. Then the Astras, Malcolm Wilson in 8th. And Louise Aitken-Walker 9th, but almost 5 minutes behind her teammate. Peugeot had entered 3 works-built cars for the event, Chris Birkbeck and Simon Davison, both in 205 GTIs, but Hakan Eriksson in the 309 GTI was the best finisher, completing the top 10 despite that early collision with a gate post. But it was Llewellyn's rally. After 200 stage miles, it's a victory cruise around Harewood House. Llewellyn has led the event at some stage for the past 3 years, but never onto the finish ramp. The Bradford bells peal out Land of My Fathers, not only to signify the Welshman's win over Edling